This week's Prime Minister's questions erupted into a tense exchange as Keir Starmer launched a direct attack on Rishi Sunak's leadership. Starmer wasted no time, pointing out what he described as the chaos at the heart of the government. He referenced recent resignations, including the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, the City Minister, and the Transport Secretary, while highlighting reported tensions between Number 10 and other senior cabinet members. His question was blunt: when will the Prime Minister accept that the instability isn't with his ministers but with his own leadership? Sunak, however, deflected the criticism by leaning on the Conservative Party's recent electoral success, stating, "We've just secured a landslide victory and have a mandate to deliver. Unlike Labour, we have stability, and we're getting on with the job." While the response drew cheers from his backbenchers, it offered little in terms of addressing the internal turmoil Starmer raised. The exchange then shifted to the economy, with Starmer grilling Sunak on soaring mortgage rates, rising borrowing costs, and declining retail sales. Starmer asked pointedly whether Sunak still believed the Chancellor was doing a good job. In response, Sunak avoided the question directly, instead highlighting selective data. He claimed, "The IMF has upgraded our growth forecast, we are the fastest-growing major European economy, and wages are rising." But Starmer's focus on everyday struggles resonated with many watching, as Sunak's answers were seen as disconnected from the real hardships facing British families. The climax of the session came when Starmer referenced Labour's economic strategies from the 1970s, challenging Sunak to explain why his government's high-tax, high-borrowing approach was failing to deliver growth. Sunak, visibly annoyed, dismissed the comparison outright, accusing Labour of clinging to outdated economic policies while positioning his government as forward-looking. He cited recent reports claiming record investment levels in the UK, though these claims were immediately criticised as overly optimistic given the current economic climate. Outside Westminster, public reaction was fierce. Many took to social media to criticise both leaders. Starmer was accused of failing to land a decisive blow, while Sunak faced backlash for his evasive answers. Clips of their exchanges went viral, with commentators noting the widening gap between parliamentary debates and the issues that matter most to the public. Critics argued that neither leader seemed willing to confront the reality of economic hardship gripping the nation. Among the most heated points of contention was the government's borrowing figures. December borrowing reached £17.8 billion, far above economist predictions, sparking fears of fiscal instability. The Office for National Statistics revealed that higher debt interest costs and one-off military housing purchases contributed significantly to this figure. Meanwhile, inflation and high bond yields have raised concerns over the UK's ability to meet its fiscal rules. Chancellor Rachel Reeves remains optimistic, defending the government's fiscal strategy at the World Economic Forum. She insisted that the country's finances were stabilising following the October budget, but analysts remain sceptical. Market volatility and rising public spending have placed intense pressure on the Treasury, with some predicting further tax increases in the next budget to meet fiscal targets. This week's PMQs served as a stark reminder of the challenges facing both leaders. For Starmer, the task remains to cut through Sunak's polished rhetoric and present himself as a credible alternative. For Sunak, the challenge is even greater: to deliver results in an increasingly fragile economy while fending off growing criticism of his leadership style. The public, meanwhile, continues to demand answers to questions that both leaders seem hesitant to provide.